All right, good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the Conservation Commission on Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, 4:35 p.m. Sorry about that. I'm Sue Gibbons. I will chair in absence of Tara McGregor, who isn't here. Just give a name.
Katie Cass.
John Howe. Carlos Salinas.
So I would like to make a motion to change the agenda slightly. We'd like to move item number 3, which is the Bayberry Hill LLC application, to be item number 2, and item number 2 into Bayberry Hill slot. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Anybody opposed? Nobody's opposed. All right, we're good. So we're ready for Bayberry Hill LLC, Plat 4, Lot 35, fire number 1747 on Sportback Road. Advisory to the zoning official for an application for a new single-family dwelling and detached accessory structure plus new OWTS and wet.
Hi, good afternoon, Attorney Matthew Landry on behalf of the petitioner. I'm joined by Karen Beck from Principi Engineering, the project engineers here. There's a little bit of history with this project. I did submit some stuff to Jen before the previous meeting. I'm not sure if you have it. I have extra copies and I'm happy to hand those out, but just a little bit of background here because this, again, there's a lot of history with this project. My client started this development of a single family house on the property back in, I think, 2008, 2009. And there was a lot of correspondence with Mark Tilson, who was here with the town at the time, between our office, Karen's office, and the town. And over the years, the project was ultimately approved by the town and went through a zoning review. I believe it came to Concom, and a building permit was actually issued for construction of the single family residence, and there's an accessory barn structure on the property. It did receive an assent from CRMC, and it also currently still has an active OWTS permit from DEM, and Karen can get into the details of that if it's necessary. Unfortunately, because of COVID and other factors outside of the applicant's control, construction ceased. There was some internal issues with one of the contractors that has since gone out of business. So the home is partially constructed. Construction did start. And the reason we're here is we went back to CRMC. The assent has lapsed with CRMC. So we sort of had to start all over again, unfortunately, and resubmit to CRMC. We tried to tack on to the pre-existing assent, and they said a whole new assent application needed to be submitted. And as you're all aware, a building official form is required as part of the assent package, and that means the town needs to sign off on the package and that the application conforms to all the local regulations or has all the permits that are required. I've provided the town with all of the previous building file and correspondence. As I said, there was a building permit issued in 2020. There were a few extensions to the original assent, but it has since lapsed for reasons I've explained. So this all started again when we submitted a request for a signature on the building official form to conform to zoning. To sign off on the CRMC application. And we've been sort of in limbo because of this uncertainty as to how do we proceed, knowing that we had all of these permits, we proceeded with the application. Nothing has changed. Everything is exactly the same. And as far as we see, it still complies with all of your zoning regulations, doesn't require any special relief. Principi Engineering has certified a letter to the town stating that nothing in the plans has changed other than to identify what has already been constructed. The plans are identical to what was previously approved. The OWTS plan is consistent. Nothing has changed. So really, that's all we have. I just wanted to put on the record that nothing has changed. Everything that the applicant is seeking to do was previously approved, and there was a building permit issued. We're really just stuck in this position now where we have to go back through the steps to get the assent application signed off on. And there's a question of whether or not, zoning is required or if we have to go through all of those steps again. And we've conferred with Jen's office a bit on what we may need to do, but we're looking for Concom's blessing as part of the process. So I can provide more technical details. Karen can certainly speak on the overall design, but as of right now, that's kind of where we're at.
I have a couple of questions. I went to walk the property today, and I note that on the application, it's 503,000 square feet. And then we looked up this map here, and I was told this is the lot, and that's only, it's less than 3 acres. Does the project include both of these?
Yeah, the project, it's 10 acre, about 10 acres in total.
Both of these lots then?
It should be all together.
Okay, it wasn't clear, okay? And as I've been on this commission for 10 years and I haven't seen this before. I don't believe it's come before us.
This is not the same map. This is the Blanchfield map.
Could you point out to me where the built dwelling is going? I'm not clear on this map, if this is what was attached to my package.
Right, but this is,
So,
This is the lot we're talking about, right?
no.
No.
this, John, this
That's a
map
different
is for the Blanchfield application. This is not the Bayberry Hill application.
Sorry.
This is-
Yeah.
This is Mansion Road. out here.
I understand that.
But Bayberry Hill is near the club. Right?
That's correct. Yep, that's right.
I'm totally confused then. Okay. Is this the map that we're supposed to be looking at?
No, this whole one here,
Yeah, there's a small.
all of this is the Blanchfield application.
Yeah.
But this, Bayberry Hill is not the Blanchfield application. They're two separate applications. Here's this.
I did not receive
This
this.
is for
Okay.
South Pond here.
Okay,
Right.
gotcha. This is Bayberry Hill?
Yes,
Okay, I'm
that's okay.
I'm-
It was confusing.
totally confused. Okay, that's all right.
I was confused too. There's a lot of, a lot of technical issues in this project.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 acres on that
Yeah.
application. Yeah. Okay, so my only question, I think you already covered, but this is, it's an application for a single family home, but there are actually multiple smaller structures that add up to the total here, right? Because
Right.
the total is over 6,000 square feet of structure, but that's what already was permitted.
That's correct. So it is unique in the design and that was intentional to lower the, the impacts of development. There is a conservation component to this and there was an agreement as to how the house should look and where it should go. So all of that was designed intentionally. So to reduce the massing, it's really a single family residence, but it looks like it's situated in 2 buildings. But there's only 1 kitchen in one of the buildings. And this is one of the things that Jen and I were talking about as to how you classify those buildings. But the intent is to be 1 single family residence with bedrooms in each, kitchen in one of the buildings. And then there's an accessory
Like a
barn,
garage, like a garage accessory.
a garage with no living.
So it's 3 buildings total.
It's technically 3 buildings. That's
So,
right.
I think that you should treat this as a new application because in my opinion, the building permit has expired because no work has been done in the last couple of years and you have to continuously work on a project. So the 2 structures won't be permitted as a single family dwelling because one isn't attached. And if they attach them, they're going to trigger the large house ordinance. So it will be a single family dwelling, an accessory residential structure, and the barn is the accessory.
Okay, all right. So that does lead to an important question in terms of an advisory here, because if the request is for a positive advisory on a single family structure, but you're actually going to need to permit it as a single family structure and an accessory structure, then I'm not sure we can act on since it does sound like it needs to be a new application.
No, I'm saying that the applicant is stating that this is already a permitted project. And I disagree with that because the permit has expired. So you're just reviewing the material that you have in front of you.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, to that, I would say, you know, the construction began in reliance upon the permit that was issued and
Sure.
already reviewed by the town, so there may be a difference in opinion as to what actually expired or not.
Yeah.
But be it as it may, I mean, if it's viewed as a new application or not, I mean, again, we're relying on all the previous permits that were already issued.
okay. All
And,
right,
and during that time, I just want to point out too, there were materials and people on site doing work over those years. The substance of all of the construction may not have been moving forward, but there was a lot of activity still occurring between 2020 and as of the summer.
it's kind of an aside question, but is this what the materials that are on those big flatbed trucks nearby are for?
So there was, a prefabbed, membrane for the house that came from Canada.
Yep.
That was shipped, and that was the subject of much delay and issues, underlying issues that we don't need to get into, but I believe that may be what you're referring to. It's the
Yeah.
actual,
The back, out Cornet Road.
that's,
left,
I believe that's,
trailers that have been there for many years. Those are associated with this project.
oh, I'm not sure about that. I know, the delivery, I don't think it hasn't been years. I'm not sure what is on those trailers, but I know there were a number of building materials that have been delivered to the site, but the construction was halted.
Are you using those?
What's that?
Are you going to use that material that's there?
Oh, yeah, it's paid for and was delivered. It's all for the specs for the house.
Okay, well,
Can I say something procedurally?
Yes.
So first of all, I appreciate y'all being here. I think that's really great. When the people involved show up. I wish though that your letter, says that's from October 7th would have actually, been sent on October 7th to us, because we only got it today. And I would have liked to have seen the CRMC application from before. I would have actually looked it up and found out exactly what they permitted and on what basis. So I'm a little up in the air about it. I did note that you have Kevin McBride listed on some of the plans. Is he actually okay with this construction? Because there's more than 500 archaeological sites that y'all are building on top of, and I understand that's the reason for the pylons. But also note that there's a lot of concrete on the ground to support the pylons. So what is Kevin, has he signed off on this? And for y'all, he's a URI archaeologist who's done extensive work on island. How would you characterize how he views these plans, or do you find it not relevant? If you could help me out with that, 'cause I'm a little troubled by construction going on a place that says rich in historical value as this.
Of course, yeah, I appreciate, I don't want to speak for him and I haven't spoken to him in some time, so I don't want to mischaracterize what his position may be, but as I said, I mean, these are issues that came up both on the local and state level when it was originally approved and went through. CRMC conducts its own, independent review, for sensitive archaeological sites. And as far as I understand, everyone was on board with the design and it was moving forward in agreement with how it was designed. So we are aware of that, but I don't want to speak for him specifically because I haven't spoken to him, but I'm not aware of any objection to how it's designed.
Well, I just want to say
Thank you.
I'm completely in the dark, it's the first time I even looked at these plans. I saw the application for Bayberry, okay, and went to look at the wrong lot because that was the map that I received. And this is the first time I'm looking at this, so I have to defer to my the expert opinion of my fellow commissioners here. Being blindsided.
The only extra point that I would make relative to the archaeological resources is that CRMC for every single assent that is put in front of them, they are required by state law to go to the Rhode Island Historic Preservation and Heritage Commission. They cannot issue a permit. The CRMC cannot issue a permit without HPHC's sign off, and that includes archaeological resources as well as historic. So the assent that was issued has already been through the approval process with HPHC. And because we have to go back to CRMC for a new assent, it will also go back to HPHC. But at this point, quite frankly, we're pretty confident that because it's already been through their review process previously, that there shouldn't be any issues.
Thank you.
I guess what troubles me a little bit here is similar to what Carlos is talking about, in that your original CRMC approval, I did find those online quickly, but it takes longer to get the actual documents from them. You pay on by request, but it takes longer. It looks like you applied in 2013 and were approved in 2014. So that's almost 11 years ago. And I'm a little bit uncomfortable moving forward with a positive advisory without seeing that application, as Carlos said, because there's so much detail on that that would help us as a conservation commission, especially if this is going to become a new application with the town. I'm not suggesting we wouldn't give a positive advisory, but that I'm not certain I have enough information to feel comfortable acting like that right now, given the fact that we didn't have time to see the CRMC documentation that is indeed 11 years old.
I would just say that the plans and all the materials that you have are identical to what was submitted back in 2014.
But we don't have, what we don't have is the full CRMC application. That doesn't come to us unless we reach out to CRMC and ask them to share the document with
Sure.
us, which they will. But it takes a few days for them to act on it by email.
I personally like to walk a property before I make any decision on it. And not having confused these maps or not having received the map, I would have to abstain from any decision. Nowhere in this package do I see that. Right here, maybe here it is. Okay, yeah, this is the first I've seen of it. And I gotta be honest, the detail on this, I could probably not even find this.
It's so small, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
There's-
So just prior to the last conservation meeting, we had forwarded all of these documents to the town. But we could certainly supply the commission with the original CRMC package and a sample of the new package. If you require anything else, larger plan sizes, anything that would assist the commission, we'd be happy to supply that for you.
You should have received a 50-page document via email
I did.
from
I
Amanda.
got it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
whatever you submitted,
yeah.
they have,
Yeah.
is the CRMC application in that packet?
No.
Hey, all the approved plans are in there.
Okay.
Not the newest application, but there really wouldn't be much else other than the application cover page, the building official form that was included, and the plans that you have in that package. So there really wouldn't be much else other than us providing the original file and any, comments or reports that CRMC may have had.
In your recollection, did the Rhode Island Historical Preservation Commission acknowledge that it's inside the Great Salt Pond Archaeological District? They did acknowledge in their assent? Okay, thank you.
And I don't have it with me, but they would have issued a letter to that effect that they have reviewed it and, it conforms to their program.
Yeah, I imagine that letter would be included in the CRMC application, and I do agree with Sue. I am confident about the amount of detail we have in that 50-page packet you supplied, but it would be nice to see the initial application.
I'd be happy to supply that too.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
So, I think that, I don't know if we require a motion here, but, I would like, if I made a motion, it would be that we delay action on this application until we have the time to see the original CRMC documentation.
Yeah, that's fine. So just so I'm clear, that's just the original file, any staff reports, the original
Yes,
materials.
The
on file.
original CRMC is sent,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that? Do you want me to say that again as a motion, Jim?
Put it, for-
You don't, I don't need it, okay. Because it's not a decision, it's just a, okay, all right, so I'm sorry for there being delay, but I just feel like you'll have a board who's a lot more comfortable.
Sure.
If we, because it is such an important CRMC application, given the location of your property. That I feel like we should be dotting all our i's and crossing all our t's here on this. So.
I certainly would hope that the board is fully informed before making that decision. So I'm happy to supply that
All right,
information
so
too.
that's all it is, really, that we just need time to see that application.
And just out of curiosity, were any burial sites found in this area?
My understanding, and I wasn't part of the process at the time, so this is me reading the documentation that's available. And from my understanding, there was a lot of back and forth, and that's why the design of these two buildings is the way it is on these kind of pier sort of scenarios based upon the archaeological resources they found on the site.
All right. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I imagine you'll end up on one more agenda. So,
so we have to do some more research ourselves, okay?
well, we'll
And
reach out to CRMC for the full
Yeah.
application.
Applicant will
We have-
apply, yeah, the applicant
They
will
will provide it. Okay.
provide the original
Okay.
CRMC application that you.
All right, and then
requested.
that'll come to us and then we'll, you know.
supply a larger plan set too, so.
Yeah, bigger would be better. I'm using my phone to learn. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that takes us back to item number 2, which is now Nora Clark with the Block Island Climate Resiliency Coordinator from the Nature Conservancy to review results of her ordinance review. Oh.
Even more exciting, which is that I think I talked to Amanda actually about, I think that was in reference to Renee talking about my presentation from a couple weeks ago. And so we had just eliminated that and we will have more ordinance review in the next couple months.
Okay.
But it was basically to eliminate number 2.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Nora. All right, well then that will take us forward to an application from Champlin Star, Plat 5, Lot 106, fire number 581 Beach Avenue, a preliminary discussion regarding construction of a boathouse / shed. CRMC application will be required. So we are in possession of the potential plans for that boathouse and but we don't have anybody here, right?
Right, Amanda just put this on the agenda for discussion prior to a formal application to CRMC. So if the applicant isn't here, you can table it until next month.
Okay, so I'm happy to table that. Anybody, I looked at it, the the potential boathouse is adorable.
Yeah.
But I had a few questions about it must be a grandfather dock that Champ has.
It
because
is.
It does have a dock there, and whether or not that it just looks so lovely that I'd like to have some reassurance that it is indeed a boathouse and a shed and not a dwelling. And I'm sure Champ can provide us with that information.
I'm completely in the dark, having received nothing on that in my box.
They were in your email. All of this was in your email.
Oh, in an email.
No, They were all email attachments. Okay, so are we comfortable with tabling it since we don't have Champ or Orin here? And the actual application is Orin, not Champ,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I would be curious about if they are looking to put plumbing and like things like that, you know? And it's
It's so nice.
just pretty birdhouse.
It's adorable. But I guess they need to be here to talk to us about its use.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay, all right, so that will get tabled, jumping us forward to number 5, Blanchfield Realty Holdings LLC, Plat 3, Lot 136. To discuss and act upon DEM Management Office of Water Resources Notice of application number 22-0340 for permission to alter freshwater wetlands. The project at Assessor's Plat 3, Lot 136, New Shoreham, application by Blanchfield Realty Holdings LLC. Application dated October 1st, 2025. The notice period is 45 days to offer comments to the DEM, and the notice period ends November 17th at 4 p.m. But.
So this is a little different, where the first application was an advisory back to the zoning official. This is your actual notice that you received from the DEM. So it's similar to the one that you just did for
Right.
the club.
So we have an opportunity now to offer comment to DEM on this application prior to November 17th. But we don't have anyone here to answer questions on the project, yes?
Because of the boats.
Because of the boats.
Yeah, because we don't have any ferries. So
I have some
you
questions.
want to discuss this one, because it's time sensitive.
Stay at one
It's
point.
time sensitive. So you may wish to discuss this application even with someone,
Right.
even without.
Could we discuss questions and maybe send?
Sue,
Or
you
get
say,
in touch with them.
can we question this?
I mean, we can ask questions among ourselves about it
Yeah.
here, yes, even
All right.
without them to explain. So I think that's what we'll have to do.
All right.
I do have a question right off the bat, actually, and that is that the map of their proposed building plan, at least to me, or maybe just to my eyes, does not identify very well where the wetlands disturbance is. I can't, the application says the percentage of wetlands disturbance, which is quite low. But I don't clearly find where that's occurring. Chris? What? Sure.
Christopher Blaine. Has anybody at this table looked at that area?
Yeah,
Yes.
Fairly well.
I drove around it today and I have several questions to ask you.
I just wondered if anyone has seen any flagging of wetlands, because my experience, anytime somebody wants to go in and alter a wetland, the first thing you see are those orange flags.
Yeah, I haven't seen flags.
I mean, I spent a lot of time in that area as a kid, and now at my advanced age, not so much, but it doesn't look like much now. But in 2010, when we had all that flooding, there was a stream that went over the Mansion Road.
Yeah, it's very wet back there.
Yeah, but a very large area. And I don't know if you've looked at the old plat map. Have you looked at the old plat map?
The old,
Yeah, the old paper plat map.
well,
It shows the right of way going out into a pond, basically, right near where one of the old mansion pillars was. But there's no break in the stone wall. I mean, aside from it going through the neighbor's property, which that's their problem, not mine, but I can't imagine that you're going to let somebody alter a wetland.
Chris, I spent an hour and a half, okay, circling that property today and here in town hall, pulling it up on the computer, okay? And it's not clear to me whether this is the lot or this is the lot. and it's not clear to me where the access is coming in off of Mansion Road. I was told the access is coming in here. You know, that it was an opportunity to put, you know, you've got a big stone pillar here. This is the old plat map. Yeah. You look at the old plat map. You know where you're gonna be looking.
Yeah, you need to use the microphone.
Okay, so here's Mansion
Like,
Road.
over to you, Chris, so you-
Show where Mansion Road is, Chris.
All right, look, here is, I gotta get my bearings here.
Okay, here's,
This is, all right, now you're looking at, this is plat 3, this is lot 136. And the right of way is right here on this dotted line. So this is the Mansion Road,
that's Mansion Road coming off of Champlin,
coming off of Corneck Road. Here you're headed east. This is what they refer to as East
Right.
Mansion Road. But this right of way, there is no break or opening.
I thought there's a big, stone pillar.
Yeah, but there's a pond and this doesn't even begin to show
I
how,
thought you went in this guy's driveway and then came across, because I drove all the way into here. Because on this map, it shows some dwellings there.
right.
And it's not clear to me.
But what I mean is, do you see this, what they refer to as a swamp?
Yeah, but this is the lot we're looking at, right? This is where we're gonna build on,
Yes, that's 136.
but you gotta get in there across this guy's property.
Well, that's this guy's problem.
Is that is there a right of way across?
I,
there?
that's a legal question. I'm just trying to show you,
Yeah,
not only do you have this, what they refer to is actually a pretty big pond.
yeah,
I've caught fish in it before,
yeah,
but this now is a huge wetland
wetland here,
because of all the development.
yeah.
All the development that's been done in that area.
yeah.
You know, every house down there has gotten bigger. Not one of them has gotten smaller. They've gotten huge.
And this is all, the
Well, there's Minister's Lot.
Minister's Lot.
Yes.
These are all Minister's Lot houses here.
Right.
So, I tell you, I drove all around this property trying to figure it out. I was actually in these people's backyard today, and there was a break in the stone wall right there.
Because they could.
There's two breaks, as a matter of fact, in the stone
Yeah,
wall.
but this dotted line, they're talking about affecting this wetland
Yeah,
and this
and
wetland.
this wetland
So-
here.
This
my question is-
2023 I found online.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen any flagging. I haven't seen any,
Yeah, no, I've been here today.
and you're looking at a time period of, the comment period closes November 17th.
You'd have to cut your way through it with a machete.
Well, you need a chainsaw now, not a machete, but I'm just curious. I mean, it seems like it's an awful big hurry here. I mean, I understand it's dry now, so you don't have much water in there. But like I said, in 2010, that place was just, the whole area was underwater. So I'm just curious as to how this can,
I know that Sherenzia and Associates, Kevin Hoyt, I know a bunch, several people were involved and had planned to attend this meeting and couldn't because of the ferries.
Right.
So I would think it would be
Right.
flagged.
Yeah, I don't, despite I think we're gonna have to find a way to work to have another discussion about this close without missing the November 17th deadline, because I don't see us being able to make a well-informed advisory without the homeowners here or the other engineers here to describe this, because one of my other questions is, I find it hard to find on the map the exact wetlands that the encroachment is occurring on, because they're not clear on the map. And then the fact that the building request includes 3 buildings, there's a single family dwelling, there's an accessory building, which is larger than the single family dwelling, actually. And then there's an accessory apartment listed on the building. So this request is for 3 buildings on that lot. and the wetlands encroachment, but I just can't tell exactly where the wetlands encroachment is. And one of my questions to them would be, if you didn't have three buildings, would you still have wetlands encroachment? Like, is there a way to build on this piece without encroaching on the wetland if the project is smaller? And I don't know, because there isn't anybody here to,
This map just,
Talk about that.
this map does not give us enough detail.
No,
Now, I was actually,
exactly.
Sue, I was right here, okay? And there is a break in the stone wall. There's no break in the stone wall on this map. All right? And I drove all the way around, the Minister's Lot, and, and trying to find,
Sorry,
yeah,
right,
it's, well, Minister's Lot would be back up here.
yes.
Okay, so there are two roads that go into Minister's Lot. And I mean, it seems to me the logical access would be from there rather than cutting across someone else's property. And we don't even know if this has been designated as a right of way. It's not marked as a right of way. And where does it cut into Mansion Beach Road?
Yeah, so I think the bottom line to me seems to be we don't have enough information.
So
And
let's,
maybe we would maybe we'd be able to get more information if the boats had been running and
Uh-huh.
people were able to
Yeah.
get here, right? And that's certainly not their fault. But I can't see myself, I mean, it's not just about me, but I can't see me suggesting to the commission that we make any kind of advisory on this or have anything to say to DEM without further information.
I think we should schedule a special meeting and we'll do that through email and I will reach out to the applicants. And then would you like to put Bayberry Hill on that application?
Sorry, say it one more time.
Would you like to add the Bayberry Hill
Yeah,
advisory to
Yeah.
your special meeting?
yeah, that'd be great because we need a second meeting for that anyway, so we might be able to do it
Okay.
at the same time.
We're flying blind here.
Too much so, yeah. So, and November 17th is not right around the corner, but it's also only just
Yeah.
over a month away, so it would be nice for us to meet the DEM deadline on that. Right?
Considering the fact that the boat isn't running, we have to give them an opportunity, I think, to come to and
Yeah.
explain, and explain this to us.
To create a negative response to DEM or a positive response to DEM without them having a chance to explain this project.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I also appreciate Chris Blaine flagging for us, no pun intended, the flag issue.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
And if you can think of anything else like that, it would be great for us to hear.
Can you include that in a potential question to them, Jen, to ask if the wetlands have been flagged?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, there's one more thing. I mean, kind of like putting the cart before the horse. There's another property on the island I can think of that's landlocked like that. It may very well be that that property is landlocked. I mean, does it have a legal right of way? It's okay to have a dotted line on a map, but unless you go in and look at the deeds, and I'm sure the two people, I understand there's two lawyers that own another piece of property. I can't imagine for the life of me that they're going to want a 40-foot right of way going through their property.
Well, but hopefully they'll be able to answer that question.
Right,
Yeah.
that's the whole, but I mean, to approve it before you knew that,
Land.
thank you.
People.
Thank you.
I did read a little bit about some back and forth between the neighboring landowners, who some of them, it looks like were lawyers. There has been a lot of discussion between the people involved in this project and the neighboring homeowners about that. There seemed to be a lot of disagreements. I was just looking it up recently, just of what's public online for this project.
Take what you're saying. You looked it up and there was a discussion and there was an agreement?
No. not
No,
yet.
there seemed to be a lot of back and forth of disagreement of things not getting approved. I think the project was initially proposed in 2023, so it's been a few years of, it looked like more legal stuff than even looking into the conservation stuff. I
Could I ask
know
Chris-
they were consulting
could I
with
ask
a
a question?
biologist.
Chris, while he's here, Chris.
I wasn't done speaking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I know they were also consulting with a biologist, and I found it interesting that they didn't a biologist with DEM, and I found it interesting that they didn't include that official report from the biologist in this report to us.
John, before you
Thank you.
start, I just want to follow up on what Katie
Okay.
was saying. Katie, can you share that information with the rest of the commission?
Am I allowed to email? I can.
You can email it to us.
Okay.
And is
Yes.
it specific to this lot? Because disputes between neighbors that aren't directly
is.
related to this lot, shouldn't be included in this application, but if it's,
It had this, it was
It-
under this application number. so-
okay, so then you
Yeah.
could, yes, if you could just send it to the office and then we'll distribute it.
I
Definitely.
just
Thank
wanted
you.
to ask a
Thank
question
you.
to Chris, because I think he seems familiar with the property. Chris, could you look at this and tell me if this is in fact a right of way here? I was able to get this far, this close, but that's, someone's driveway.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get into that. That's illegal. That's illegal.
Yeah,
I'm not
We're
qualified
gonna have
for
to
that.
find out.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the plat map. They don't seem to be the same as what that, that's all I can say.
Okay, so we'll put this on a special meeting, and we'll try to pick a date.
All right,
4:30 is what's best, right? The time is always,
yeah, we're bowling a lot of gutter balls here today, but.
no, that's okay. I didn't want to cancel the meeting because I wasn't sure who
No,
was
it's
here, who wasn't gonna be
It's
here,
good because
so.
we're learning things anyway.
No.
so. Okay, all right, so that takes us to item number 6, which is Conservation Commission and Coastal Resilience Committee discussion on respective roles and responsibilities and how best to work together. And I'm totally fine with it, but I honestly didn't think this was part of this agenda today. Did you? No. So.
Oh, what we heard at the last meeting, with the coastals meeting, I thought it was discussed that you wanted to add this to this agenda. Amanda heard that and so did I, to continue your discussion because the meeting was cut short for,
Right. No, we just ran out of time last time.
Yeah.
But I thought our request was to schedule a separate meeting for our group discussion.
So.
Amanda said she was working on finding a time for that.
what we heard was that it was gonna go on this agenda, so that's why it's on this agenda.
Yeah, okay.
That's the takeaway.
Yeah.
We were both there.
Well,
So it's on the agenda. You can talk
Yeah,
about
I
it
think-
now or not. It's up to you.
Well, I have been a part of a conversation about a special separate meeting with the Coastal Resilience Committee, and Amanda and Laurel had thrown out the date, the 28th of October at 4 or 2:30 PM.
10:28.
10:28 at 2:30. That was what, and I responded and I copied all of my, the Coastal Resilience Committee, because it took us a couple days to get a quorum together.
Yeah.
And we do not have a quorum today.
So
Thank you.
I don't know about other people, except the only thing I would throw out there as a caveat, Judy, is that we now are needing to pull a meeting together for conservation on these other 2 applications, on 3 applications, actually, Bayberry Hill, Champlin, and Lansfield. So I'm hoping that October 28th doesn't become the only time we can do that.
Yeah, and I think that,
Before November.
right, I think that.
I'm gonna go out and get candy.
31st.
And I think we should just be mindful of the number of special meetings and
Yes.
staff time
Exactly.
and everything. So we might want to try to consolidate some of it. I mean, I don't know if, I mean, it's not advertised as Coastal Resilience Committee.
Correct.
Well, it does say committee, so I don't know if you want to discuss it now or put it on the October 28th. Yep.
Yeah, for now.
Okay.
And
Okay, but I know that you have,
those other applications
Right.
could interfere.
You could start the
Exactly.
next meeting
Yeah.
right after that
Yeah.
if the meeting room isn't already booked.
Okay.
that's what I was going to say. We're sensitive to the fact that some of what you're dealing with is very time sensitive. And the Coastal Resilience Committee isn't going anywhere. We're here. So, if we get punted, I think that's okay, because we're going to just keep nagging you till we,
Okay, yep.
till we do it. Yeah.
My
Yeah,
discussion about group work and overlap, but that it's not immediately time
Right.
sensitive as long as it doesn't get tabled forever.
correct.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks, sorry. All right, that gets us to approval of. minutes.
Hold on 1 second, let me,
Sorry.
so, thank you, Sue. Is it our sense that if we meet on these two applications that are pending, that it would be next week? Is that what we would try to do?
I think we were saying that we could do the 28th at 2:30 with Coastal and 4:30 regular special meeting with this board.
Oh.
That's up to you,
Oh, so there's two meetings on the 28th.
if you would like to do it. Or would you like an hour with Coastal and then, I mean,
I don't think we need 2 hours with.
Okay.
Right?
I
so
thought
then
we
do
were
the-
gonna-
3:30 on the 28th and then rolled into our meeting.
Yeah.
well, I think they had already decided 2:30.
Hmm?
So you could do 2:30 and then
Oh, that was,
3:30 for your regular scheduled meeting so that we could ask the applicants if that works for them.
Which is better.
As long as it doesn't cut into my trick and treating.
Yes, so
Does that work?
let's try 2:30 for Coastal and 3:30 for our meeting on the 28th, if the applicants can do that. Awesome. Okay.
great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that jumps us to approval of minutes from September 9th, September 16th, and September 30th. They were in everybody's email, and I did review them with no changes noted.
I have an objection to one of them.
Okay.
So the minutes for September 30th has me present. I was not, and I was recused, and I think that's important.
That is important.
Can you, what date is that? Because I didn't write the minutes, so.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah.
See it.
So the minutes for September
September
30th
30th.
has me present. I was not.
Okay.
I didn't even watch it live.
Now, yeah, it's important that he not show his presence because he was recused.
Yeah.
And so somewhere in the, like a line that I had recused
Right, yeah,
before the meeting.
okay, yeah, that's very important, yeah.
Yes, I will add that.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that change noted, I would make a motion to accept the minutes of September 9th, the 16th, and the 30th with the change that Jen just made. Is there a second?
I don't know if I can second because I'm not part of one of the meeting minutes.
I'm not sure I was there. I don't have copies of
Okay,
it, so
well,
I,
then Katie's
So-
got a second.
I can second for September 3rd, but I didn't join the commission and 30th, but I didn't join the commission. I wasn't at the first, those other two meetings.
Sue, if you want, we can go one by one because other than that last one, I can second and
Okay.
say yay on everyone.
September 9th alone
I'm
first.
second. I'll second.
All right,
Oh.
so we have a second to accept the minutes of September 9th. All in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. September 16th.
Aye. I mean, second and
Katie, did you vote on September 9th?
No, I wasn't on the
She
commission.
wasn't here yet.
Okay.
I didn't, I
But you read the minutes,
I read
right?
the
Okay,
minutes,
okay.
and
fine.
I don't remember if I was present for one of them. I think it
Okay.
was
I
then.
think it's the
So
16th
that's
that
September
we-
9th, okay.
Yeah.
No worries. And September 16th,
I second.
aye,
Aye.
all in favor? And then the last one is September 30th.
And I can second that one with the,
Yes.
with the
because
change it
you were
made.
there with it.
Yeah.
So Katie seconds that one with the change that we made, all in favor?
okay.
Aye. Phew.
Perfect.
Yeah, lots of complications. All right, item number 8 is to discuss future agenda items. I guess my sense is we have plenty of them right now.
Yeah, I think
One
we've
thing
covered that.
I do want to raise the issue. The process of agenda setting, it happens too quickly. We're not able to say, actually, I don't like this agenda, or I think it needs to be modified. And I think we need to agenda an item on setting an agenda, like the process. How does the agenda get set?
I can tell you that some of the items, like this agenda, for example, you add applications, so the applications go on the agenda.
Yeah,
The board members are not involved with setting the agenda as far as reviewing it or adding language to the agenda item. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years, so I'm pretty familiar with
I
the agenda
understand.
process. And if, that's why we have discussed future agenda items on this agenda. So then if you might have 20 items and we're kind of adding them to agendas based on priority or time. Or if you have a special meeting, but you decide maybe we'll add something else to the agenda, that doesn't mean that you don't have the ability to always add items, but it does go through the chair. Because we couldn't possibly have 7 board members saying, well, I want this, I want to change that, I want to do this. Like, we're usually up against a deadline for the newspaper and creating the agenda and time sensitive 45 days that you have to act or stuff like that. So what you could do is, I know I do this with planning board, we just make a list of ongoing topics that we put on agendas if time allows. But as far as the applications, they automatically go on the agenda. And then, so if you, like, we just talked about the special meeting and we talked about adding those other 2 applications because it's a special meeting. But if you have items that you would like on the agenda, then this is the time that you kind of go over that.
Well, that's what I have a problem with, because a lot can happen in a month. And some issue could come up that we think maybe it needs to be addressed sooner rather than later. But then we have to wait to set that as a new agenda item for the next month. So I
You don't,
think
you
I
could
think we
ask
should-
the chair to, I mean, you could pick anything, but say there was something that you thought was important that needed to be discussed, you would just email, you could email the chair, you could email her and say, or whoever it is, and then she could add it to the agenda if,
Yeah, I think it would be good to establish a process whereby the commission members are involved in establishing the agenda, understanding that there are items that get added and are time sensitive. I understand that.
yeah, we do have a process. I just
Yeah.
explained it. You email the chair, and then if, or Amanda and the chair, I mean, definitely CC Amanda, so it could get on the agenda. And if the chair puts it, I mean, it's, someone has to be the point person. It's
Yeah, I
always the chair.
understand that.
So that's always been the process, unless you as a group have a list of items that you want to discuss for future things, then we add them when we can.
I'd like to have that as an open item of the commissioners involved in the setting of the agenda. And as we think about it, maybe we might have other ideas on how to do that.
Well, you have discuss future agenda items listed on here. So this is your time to do that right now.
So establishing the agenda is an item that I'd like to add to the next agenda. Please.
Just a question. So say I would like to add something to the agenda that happens to come up within the month. My process is to contact Tara and maybe CC Amanda.
Yes, always CC Amanda, since we're typing the agenda
Okay.
and posting it and,
Yeah.
um,
And so
you would
what's
email
the typical plan for when you finalize the agenda? Like when?
at least 14 days
Okay.
prior. We try to have a cutoff date
Okay.
because we're, putting it in the newspaper and all of that.
Yeah.
So 14 days prior to the meeting.
14 days. Yeah. Okay.
It should always go through the chair. That's the process. And if Amanda, I mean, obviously she would need to see it so that we could add those items to the agenda.
Review.
And another thing is like, if you are talking about a lot specific, they have to be noticed. So it's not something where oh, I want to see what Jen Brady's doing over there and I want to go talk about her property. Like you can't do that without notifying the property owner.
sure,
Like they have legal rights to attend to the meetings and be present if their property is being discussed. So. Is there something that you would like on the agenda to talk about future agenda items?
Well, Sue developed a checklist. We ought to review that at one of these meetings. We should develop that checklist for applications.
Yes, but we did, we accepted it.
All right,
At the
all right.
last meeting. We just
Okay.
need to make sure we have paper copies of it here.
Yeah.
And actually, I'll reach out to Amanda and make sure we have them because they'd be very useful for both Blansfield and the Bayberry Hill project, I think.
So you would like to discuss
No, we
your
don't have to talk
checklist?
about it, we just would like the checklist
To be available.
available at each meeting. And I
Okay, so you're not bringing your own copy? You want Amanda to bring copies
I think
for
that
you?
was her.
I'd like a
plan.
copy in a box,
It's-
yeah.
It's on, I think it's a single page.
Okay. I just wanted to
I
clarify.
think it's single page, it might be two. Okay.
And then have you decided whether or not you're discussing setting the agenda? I mean, we just discussed that. I think Carlos asked for it to be an agended matter. Is that correct? Did I miss that?
That is correct.
So that's up to the commission. I mean, I explained the process. If we had 7 members contacting our office and saying, "Oh, I want this on the agenda, I want this on the agenda," it's just, we wouldn't be able to actually, I think,
I mean,
create an agenda.
framing it as chaotic process, yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely not. So if we can figure out a process that's not chaotic, that's orderly, I
Yeah,
think that would be a good thing to do.
and that's the process that we have right now, where you would reach out to the chair and say that you would like to add
Well, how?
something to the agenda, and then, or you discuss it like you're doing right now, where you're brainstorming ideas for future agendas.
Right, well, so how about
Yeah.
this, for the next meeting, we'll put an agenda item on, as Carlos is requesting, and just to kind of formalize and discuss in everybody's head what the process is for setting the agenda, so we each know what the appropriate thing to do is in terms of emailing Amanda or emailing Taryn and what the timeframes always are, because Jen, I know those are things like the back of your hand, but
Yes.
new commissioners don't necessarily know.
That
So,
sounds,
if-
that
if
sounds
we
like
can
a,
get it That way.
that-
and
Yeah, we could do
I
that.
think a discussion of exactly how that's supposed to proceed so that we all have that information and could discuss whether it all seems like what we're comfortable with and what is legal, obviously, is,
it sounds like,
At a meeting and we're clear.
Yeah.
it sounds.
Do
to
that.
me-
I could
Well,
type up the
I was
process.
gonna say, it sounds to me like a mission statement.
and-
Yeah, well.
Well, this is just for crafting,
We
yeah.
talked about the list on the agenda.
Yeah.
Right, I'm talking about,
Yeah, just to make it clear to everybody exact, because I do sometimes wonder myself, when I'm about to send an email, I think, well, okay, is this the right way for me to do this? And if it's related to an agenda item, so let's clarify it all in the
If-
discussion.
if you send your emails to us, I mean, you can send it to Amanda and CC me on any of it, and in case she's not there, or I'm not there, whatever, and then, without CCing the entire commission.
Right.
Because then you run into the rolling quorums, and we're very
Yes.
careful about that,
Yeah.
so that's probably the best way to do it. I mean, you certainly could discuss a future agenda items on every agenda, and then you're kind of coming up with stuff
Yeah.
for the next meeting. Unless there's an emergency that you really need to discuss, then you would
Right.
let us know.
Okay, so, but I think, again, if we just have it on the agenda next time and we're all clear on how to avoid that rolling quorum and the time limitations on agenda items, then people might feel more comfortable.
Yeah, Just set it for at least 14 days prior, and then, we have to post it and, we have a whole checklist of things that take place with the agenda, so we can do that.
All right, so I think that might take us to item 9, which is adjournment, and I would make a motion to adjourn.
I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Thank you, Chris.